Hello everyone, my name is Sukha and today we are here with Prantar Tamuli and yes, hi. He's an artist from Northeast and today we'll get to learn a little bit about him. So how are you doing today?
I'm good. It's very hot.
Yeah, it's very hot.
Extremely hot. Unexpected for Kohan.
That's true. So after I entered this room, it's very interesting.
Thank you.
Can you tell us something about your room?
Okay. There are three interesting things about this room. First is that everything that you see here was handcrafted, nailed, sawed, beaten and made by my own hands. So it took me about 1 month to make this bed, the flooring, the shelf, the bed over there, the partition over there. So everything was handcrafted. The second thing you have to know interesting about this thing was that everything that you see here is made with either recycled materials or things that are waste products. So those bricks that you see are actually leftover wooden jams. This table is actually a notice board, door and 2 cages, bird cages and a few bamboo stakes and things like this. So everything that here is made with recycled materials. And the third thing I think is that this studio contains all my life's possessions. From my childhood, all my toys to my comic books to my small collections and everything else. So this studio is like everything I have ever owned in my life. Is everything is here. It's very personal.
Yeah. Thank you so much for letting us in into this space.
Yeah, not too many people have come over here, so this is like a special invitation to the Vistozoe team.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so moving on, as an artist, you just mentioned that you have so many toys, you have so many collectibles from when you were a kid. So do you have artworks from when you were a childhood? When did you decide that you wanted to be an artist?
Well, becoming an artist was not a choice, I think. I was actually very poor in my studies. I actually flunked in my preparatory, I flunked in my first standard and all that. So becoming an artist was more like an escape or an alternative this thing. So I started as a copy artist, and after copying things from comic books, from Pokemon cards and Digimon and all that stuff, I eventually started doing my own artwork. But I started doing it only when I have grown up in my adulthood though, because then it became something that is a reflection of my own frustrations and struggles with daily life. That's when I started using art as a means of expression. Before that, it was just for fun and hobby.
Yes, that's right. Art is a great way to express your emotions. So Northeast being so diverse in culture. So where do you see Northeast heading towards? How do you see young artists from Northeast take up art or design as a career?
Right. So here's one thing that I would like to say is that though I'm an artist, though I did not choose to be an artist, I chose to be a designer and an architect, because design and architecture is my profession. That's where I earn my bread and butter from. Art that's not for sale, it's a personal affair. So that's something that is my own, that is not for any of commercial this thing. So regarding this thing, what I think about the art industry or the design industry in Northeast, I think there are a lot of talented artists in Northeast. People are good with their hands and they have visions, and because you see all this nature and so many diverse cultures and tribes and things like this. But I think we do not have enough awareness about its practical industry, which is the design industry. Because most of the times it is artists, and you really need people who can visualize and are good with hands in the industry of design, where they can visualize stuff or do things. So
what is that you face being an artist?
Okay, so I think the struggles coming to two fronts. One front is the professional side, and one is more the personal side. So the professional side of the struggle obviously comes from clients, because as I said, in Northeast specifically, in the entire India, I think the design culture is still growing. So the clients know that there is something called design, but they do not know what is design exactly. So they'll often come and tell you like, अच्छा भैया लोगो बनाना है, ये बना के दे दीजिए, ऐसा मुझे चाहिए. So they expect you to be the software guy only. So you have to, they only expect. So yes, it's a hard time telling your client that designing their logo is actually much more than what they think it is. It has to be about their brand, or it has to be about their business and things like this. So you have to make them aware. So that is a big struggle where currently the client and the industry and not so many people are aware of the design in the whole field. So that's a major struggle. And obviously since they do not know, so they tend to, or they do not understand the value, so they do not want to pay that much to the designer. So that's another big struggle. So, but otherwise, because currently with the internet and social media and so many other platforms, it's very easy for you to get designers or artists and illustrators to get jobs which are international or outside India. So you can even get commissions from comics and drawing the illustrations from outside India with different platforms. So that's how I think currently Indian artists and illustrators are benefiting from social media and the online internet age. Otherwise it would have been a very difficult thing.
So do you think social media right now is also helping you to promote your art?
Yes, definitely. Because social media, if you look at it, and if I'm thinking of, if you're thinking of art, I'm not just talking about art in terms of 2D visual art.
Yes.
I'm also talking in terms of poetry or videography or photography. Social media and the entire internet is basically visual medium, right?
Yeah.
It's entirely visual
And there is no
medium, and somebody
censorship.
has to create it. So anybody who's creating any content for internet medium is basically an artist today. I consider them as artists because they have to actually creatively think about different content or different things, and everything that you see online is either images, videos or texts. So even text is less. Now you only see images and videos.
And what about the personal struggles?
The personal struggles run from the family side because my studio right now is in my house. It's in the rooftop. So very often you'll get a call from my mom and she'll ask me to go repair the car or wash the car or go to the bank and get some dhania and all that stuff. So for her, I'm like upstairs doing my hobby, but for me this is like work. I'm designing something or working for a client. So sometimes they don't understand.
And also, I mean, how do you see being your own boss? How does that affect your life? The discipline of working.
That is very. Being an artist, you know that our creativity does not come from order. It comes from random chaos, and it's how it's unplanned. Oh my god! I think my dog is.
And we were talking about your personal struggles.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that's one more. Yeah. So my dogs are there. Yeah, they are distractions. So but they are good when I'm working at night. So they'll stay here and that's it. Other than that.
You love animals.
Yeah.
I mean, like you were just right now drawing an elephant.
Yeah. This is a practice work. I often like to some of the ideas that I think now strike me. I like to illustrate them in my own ways. So this one is particularly is a pen and ink painting that I'm trying to do. These are where I'm using ink both with pens and with brushes. So
It's a really amazing.
yeah, this one is a dream of a buffalo. This one is I forgot the name of this one. This one is called. And this one was inspired by Harry Potter's this thing. Expecto Patronus. This one, the one that I'm making right now, is called. I wanted to call it the audacity. How human beings have the fact that they can actually dare to go up against bigger things in nature. This was about
We're so obsessed with development that we forget.
Yeah. So this one is a huge mammoth-like thing that you are seeing, and this is one small tiny human being who's trying to control you. So this one is called the audacity. This one was a fox, and this one was inspired by Black Panther. I watched Black Panther and wanted to draw an actual Black Panther, not the comic book one.
Yeah.
This is an actual Black Panther, so this is the animal version of it. So you see he's got all this mask-like thing, but this is an animal. Yeah. Other than these, I do things like pen and ink, very detailed ones. These are my favorite ones to do because art for me is more like a meditative process. So I tend to get 3 hours, 4 hours into it. I sit there and I take a pen and just start doing details. Other than these, I do digital work, software, normal illustrations, and Photoshop work, Illustrator work, digital artworks, and all that.
So you just mentioned that art for you is not a hobby; it's your profession. So what do you do as a hobby when you're not painting or
art for me
sketching?
is a hobby.
Okay.
My profession is design.
Okay.
In terms of both graphic design, product design, or in terms of architecture. Professionally, I'm an architect.
So do you travel
For projects?
For projects?
Yes, I do. Sometimes I have projects from Delhi, or the sites are based in, one of the site is based in Kurg. So I have to travel, and sometimes that's the one benefit of having design industry, getting the designers so the client pays for the site visits. So, very often, not all the time though, but if you can at least, ask the client to pay, they will. So that's like free travel sometimes.
But do you travel for recreation as well?
Oh yes, I do.
Okay.
It's a very big part, and that's where I get all my inspiration from. And I am not specifically, I'm very inspired by nature and the Meghalayan culture.
Okay.
So very often the second most thing that I like to do apart from my art is go on long drives. I like driving. So very often I'll take my car and go to Meghalaya and come back and just do art, because that's where I get most of my inspiration.
Are you inspired also by an individual or an artist in community as such? Or it's just the nature?
Oh yes, no, there are artists. See, my ideas come from nature, but the way I do art, or how I learn or how I teach myself is obviously from bigger artists. So there are obviously artists who I admire and I follow and I aspire to be like. So
to name a few
would be Kim Jung-lee. It's a way everybody, I think people who are from the art background, they'll know him. He's a genius. Then there is Aaron Horkey. These are more modern day Instagram artists who are famous. So you can follow them. They do daily work and you can check their work.
We can also follow you. What's your handle?
Oh, my handle is Prantar Tamuli.
Okay.
That's PRANT.ART.AMULI.
That's a very creative username actually.
Yeah.
And coming to the more funny part of being an artist, and sort of also maybe annoying. What are the weird questions that you get as an artist? Like, do people assume that you're starving? Things like that.
Yeah. People. The first thing that I often get is, "Beta placement nahi mila kya?" The second thing I often get is very much similar, or the other one that I get is engineering na pala nahi ki. Other than that, you'll often get is art to theek hai, but kar kya rahe ho? And this one's the one that I get often, and I'm very weirded by it. There's often a small kid, and this mother will always come and say, so dada iman dhuniya art padi kya dibune ki possible. So that's the one I often get all the time. So these are the things I have to deal with on a daily basis.
But do you think you can actually take this up as a career, art and teaching together?
Yes. In fact, that's something. Yes. In fact, that's something that I'm interested in. I'm interested in education and learning, not education, learning, because I think in the coming times, I think with all these changes that are happening, with all the social media, AI, and whatever development that are happening, I think it will be very important for people. Creativity in its essence will become very rare in India. Because that's something that, and that's the trend that you'll be seeing today. Digital artworks, and 2000 from I think 2013 and 14, right when I had the digital Wacom pad and I was obsessed with digital art. These are some of the illustrations, vector illustrations that I used to do. This one is called The Death of Argument. This one is from Game of Thrones. This is the White Walker.
Right.
So these are more popular art. This is Pacific Rim, Ultron, Deathstroke and all that.
So what are you doing these days? I mean, professionally.
Currently, I'm actually engaged in a few projects, which are design projects, architecture and graphic design.
Right.
And I have a few product design projects coming up, and so I'll be most probably having interns in some time.
Oh, that's
so I'll
nice.
be opening my studio for internship.
And what are your plans for future?
Yeah, my plans for future with design disposition. is actually that I actually want to set up, because like I said, what I understood here is that there are a lot of talent, but there is less skill. People don't know the industry and they don't know skills like Photoshop industry. So what I want to do with my design disposition is set up like something like a merger between educational plus professional practice, where people can learn as well as get professional experience while doing my projects. So I have a few programs in mind coming up, and sometime probably I'll be expanding design disposition to something like that.
Okay, that's great. So, like, do you have any message for the aspiring artists?
I think in the creative industry currently today, both in terms of art, architecture or design field, there's a lot of talent and there's a lot of good value. Industries, the colleges and everybody is trying to teach us what is good design, and I think Indian colleges, some of them are really good, really good. What is missing today in this industry, I think, is leadership. Because we artists tend to be introverts. We do not like to tackle problems. We'd rather sit in a corner and do art, and whatever problems other people have, we'll rather try to deal it internally. So, but I think what is the need of the hour is that all these creative people, because like I said, today is the age of social media and this is the age of content creators. The most powerful thing that you have in your hand and the skill that you could have today is creativity and producing visual content. We should really start using it. And I think it's time that artists takes charge of this industry, and artists or designers, and then they start trying to run this industry. They set up their own studios, try to set the rules, or try to set terms of working with the clients. Like these are the terms that I work with.
Right.
So that's what I'm currently trying to do. When a designer comes, set my own, take the profession more professionally, not like as a hobby or something, because today there is an opportunity and I think it is a need. A lot of people do not pursue art, or parents inhibit or prohibit their children from pursuing art because they think that it doesn't make money and it's an unorganized sector. But I think in the present day, artists, they get, they start running things professionally,
and there's so much more
there's so much more to do. It becomes a profession.
Yeah.
I think it empowers you as well as other artists who are with the, who are still growing and struggling and things like that. So I think, the upcoming artists, I think you guys need to be, leaders. You need to step up and take the charge and make things like this.
Okay, that was great. Thank you so much for having us here.